Homemade breadcrumbs are going to taste better. You'll save money.
Don't leave crumbs.
Let's make breadcrumbs.
It's extraordinary the number of people who say that, and most of us just never do it. There's a sort of fear factor in there of putting yourself out there. I'd always wanted to do it. I'd never had the guts to do it. And actually, Sam, I should have mentioned this before, but the Stymie newsletter, I only started that when I started it because you were kind enough to put a piece in the cookie jar. I've called this a sabbatical. I think some people probably think it's a midlife crisis. They might be right, and we'll look back and
think
work
you have to buy
it
a
out.
motorbike if it's a midlife crisis.
No, I'm not allowed one of those. No, I tried that. So I just had fallen out of love with the game, and it's partly to do with that admin stuff that we were talking about. I just wasn't playing. It's quite hard to play when you're in the industry. There's always something to do, or you don't want to play at home because you get seen by people, and I'd just fallen out of it. And when I did play, it was infrequent enough that I played even worse than I did this morning, and I just lost the spark.
Yeah.
I thought, well, I'm either going to stop playing or I'm going to play a lot and try and get that love of the game back. And when I thought back to how I was at Mitcham, I was a greenkeeper, I was visiting all sorts of courses. That's how I got to Woking, New Zealand, etc. Royal Wimbledon was another one. Going to visit these places to find out more about the turf and the architecture was such a passion, and I'd forgotten all about it. I'd neglected it. So it was an intentional effort to go and play a lot more golf and see some new courses that I hadn't seen. So some of those crop up in here.
But also your writing's very nostalgic, isn't it? There's quite a lot of stuff around some of the club nostalgia that you write about as well, it's fair to say, and some of the, maybe some of the more old school stuff within the game as well. So it's not just architecture, right? A lot of it's maybe it's some of the ineffable qualities around the clubs.
Yeah, which is the stuff that interests me. And I think you, from talking more with you and being in this gorgeous room at Blackwell.
Yeah, we should say we're sat in the members' lounge recording this pod.
It's just wonderful. And I just love these places. And the more niche that's in the clubhouse and the golf course and so on, the more they should protect it, because I think it's what makes these places unique and gives them a lasting appeal. And the rest of the world can homogenise, as you mentioned, but these places are properly special, and they've worked perfectly well for dozens, if not hundreds of years. And
but again, they haven't all got to be the same. Not every club should be like New Zealand. Not every golf club should be like Royal St George's. But there's a potency to those types of places, and I think that's the cool feature, isn't it? Particularly when you're doing so much around travelling and looking at different clubs. One of the courses I saw in here that we played last year, myself and Tom, actually, is Painswick, which makes a feature. Now, curious to know, funnily enough, I think a bit of a niche thing here. When you wrote the Rank Outsiders piece, I think I was looking for a piece to put in. I think I used a picture from Painswick, actually. It may even be this green that's on there. As the little website, I'll check that, as the little tile that you put on the website. Painswick's fifth hole, for example. Painswick is nothing like New Zealand. It's nothing like Royal St George's or any of that. It's a totally different type of place, but it's also the sort of place I think you can fall in love with very quickly.
Yeah. So I might actually cheat and... No, I won't. I'll come back to Cleve Hill. So Cleve Hill was my direction into Painswick. I played Cleve Hill, and the guy who's been on the podcast, actually, Sean, Detroit golfer.
Sean Arbour, yeah.
Who I've known for years, and he's just a star for this sort of stuff. He knows what will appeal to me. He said, you've got to get to Painswick. So I went there and just stood on the first tee wondering what on earth you meant to do from here. All you can see is a hill, which looks too steep to walk up, with a marker above. And then you get to the fifth, 114 yards par 3, totally blind. It's called Castle, and it makes sense because it's sort of, might as well have crenellations around the front wall. It's well defended. And the little path that leads up there could be from a footpath in the Lake District. It's just
so unique, isn't
It's
it?
not golfing landscape, and it's so much fun. I could have stood on that tee all day long and hit shots, and I've played it twice now, and the second time I thought I'd probably hold in one. I got up there and couldn't even find the ball. So
It's one of those brilliant punch bowl greens, isn't it? Which I always think gives you just so much excitement when you walk down and you kind of get in that sort of sneak peek as to where the ball is. I think there's a huge amount of excitement to that.
Yeah, and that sort of ties into the architectural theme. So Darwin wrote about this, and I tried to cobble together some piece around it, but he was talking about blind shots and the dells, specifically of Royal St George's, which is another one I've left out after a great deal of deliberation. And he said these blind shots and dells appeal to the childiness and make one think of robbers' caves and underground passages. And he just spoke of getting to the brow of the hill. He's just so excited to see what's there.
Yeah.
And architecturally, they've sort of gone way out of favour, and I get that it's probably not that fair to have many blind shots on a golf course, but at the same time, we're out there to have fun, and to me, that is loads of fun.
Homemade breadcrumbs are going to taste better. You'll save money.
Don't leave crumbs.
Let's make breadcrumbs.